Hello to Congressman Lloyd Doggett. I assume you're on August recess. That's why we get to see you.
August work session.
August work session.
We're back here working, and
you go to a lot of these town hall meetings.
Well, I
visit with a lot of
folks. Tonight I'll be with the Lockhart Police Department. We're doing a nice, warm national night out to involve people in the community all over Caldwell County.
Good.
And at lunch today, visiting with seniors down in Kyle at the Senior Zone. So it's a good opportunity to get out and talk with people and listen. And learn for the months ahead in Washington.
What are they telling you? Is it the obvious things, jobs, the economy, things like that?
Well, as you just explained in the newscast here, fortunately we're a little better off here in Central Texas than in the rest of the country, but yes, we do need to continue to spur the economy. There's concern about that. I believe there's strong support for pay-as-you-go government, not wanting to see this debt keep spiraling out of control. Many other concerns that address matters local and national.
True. Well, and having said that, pay-as-you-go, now, you had a real battle, not you, but the Democrats, the Republicans, extending unemployment, things like that. They say it's just increasing the debt, but boy, you just can't turn those people away, can you?
Well, there are people out there who, through no fault of their own, had a job exported abroad and are left without the security they thought they would have, and we've tried to tide them over with some extended unemployment benefits, and it was unfortunate to see folks stand in the way and just say no to everything.
Well, that's one of your pet peeves, too. I forget there was this company on your website, Delta, or what was it called?
There's just one company after another that have tax breaks that allow them to export jobs overseas, and I'll tell you, amongst the abusers right now, one that's really bothering me is the people that did the drilling for the BP well down there, Transocean. They're the largest drilling company in the world. So they filed papers to move. They stay in Houston, but they filed papers to incorporate in the Cayman Islands. And then they moved to Zug, Switzerland, not exactly the petroleum capital of the world, all to avoid about $1 billion of taxes over the last decade. They get tax breaks that any business along South Congress or down in Lockhart on San Antonio Street don't get. And I think that's unfair, and I've been trying to close those loopholes that allow the export of jobs overseas.
Is it working? Are you making progress?
Well, we're not making as much progress as we need to. We need more headway, but we are working on some legislation. We've passed some. It seems like, contrary to what you learn in a high school government class, we have two bodies there in Washington, not the House and the Senate, but the House and the graveyard. And so many things are there buried in the Senate. I hope eventually we'll see some action because it's really outrageous.
True. You are probably going to get an earful on immigration this trip,
I do hear about that. You know, I think there's strong support for securing our border. I just voted again for another $700 million for more border patrol. I think we have to secure our border, but we also need some further action. That's just not enough to deal with all of our immigration problems. I don't think we're going to see it during the remainder of this year, but I hope next year after the elections we can come together with some more far-reaching immigration reform.
Right. Would you support an Arizona-type law here if the Texas legislature
Absolutely
tries for it?
not. I think that's the wrong way. For one thing, we don't need every state with its own immigration policy. This is a national policy. We need to be doing it better. We need to be doing it stronger. We also don't need something that kind of puts a mark on people that may have been here for generations but look like they could have come from south of the border. I don't want to see them targeted. And the Arizona law allows any citizen who feels like it to sue the police department because they don't think they're doing enough to enforce the immigration laws. That's bad for not just for Hispanics, but for anyone who cares about effective law enforcement. I agree with our police chief here in Austin, police chief in San Marcos, who both said that kind of law will keep them from protecting us and keeping us safe.
Gotcha. New banking regulations in effect, new financial reforms?
Finally, that is one of the successes. There are many things in Washington that I think have just been flat wrong, like the bank bailouts that I opposed, that I think were the wrong way to go. But the idea of Wall Street regulation is to try to prevent us having another one of these bailouts calling on the taxpayers. And it's also about some of the abusive practices that I've been hearing about that some of the Wall Street banks have engaged in. Someone thinks they got their credit card payments on track, and then the interest rate gets expanded tremendously so they can't keep up. Scams with reverse mortgages, scams with credit cards. We will have now a new Financial Protection Regulatory Bureau, very similar to Consumer Product Safety Commission, saying that there's some dangers lurking in these financial instruments with reference to seniors, students, others, to see that there's fair play here. You get mugged down here, as we hear about on Fox News from time to time on 2nd Street, and lose your wallet, but you get mugged by Wall Street and you lose your whole life savings.
You kind of wonder what happened.
Exactly.
Speaking of that, the consumer protection, the new chief there too, Elizabeth Warren, a lot of people are backing her. Are you in agreement with her?
I'm a big fan of hers. You know, she was a professor out here at the UT Law School. I visited with Elizabeth several times. She came up with this idea that you can have dangerous toys, but you can also have dangerous financial instruments, credit instruments, and we all know that you find out about some of the details of what you've gotten yourself into on a credit card or a loan, often in the fine print on the back. This is to arm consumers with the information they need to protect themselves. Professor Warren has been a leader in that. She would be a great director, and I've asked that she be put at the top of the list to be director of this new Financial Consumer Protection Bureau.
Good. Let's hope that works. We got to go. I want to ask you about Elena Kagan. She'll probably come up for a vote this week.
I think she will. I think she's a good choice for the Supreme Court. I really want to see us move forward with our judges here in Texas. We've got 7 vacancies on the federal courts here. 5 or 6 of them have been declared judicial emergencies. We need to move forward more quickly with the courts that deal with all of the law violations here and some of the disputes among citizens.
Gotcha. Well, when you get reelected, if you do, and I think he will, he's up for reelection, by the way. He's got
all the time.
All the time. That's true. He's running every 2 years. Got a Tea Party candidate, so we'll look for that too. District 25. It's always good to see you.
Good to be home.
Thank you.